What's up, everybody? Welcome to SnailMail.
Hola.
Hello, hello.
Hello. What up? How's it going? How you be?
I'm sad.
Why?
Because I have a massive grease stain on my shorts.
Oh, yeah.
Fucking nachos.
Nachos took a hole out of a styrofoam container.
Yeah, apparently they were really hot when they put the nachos in the styrofoam container. It melted a hole in the bottom of the container. I didn't know about it until I was done eating, and I had this massive grease puddle on my short.
Oh, that's what that is?
Yeah, it's over here, though. You're looking in the wrong spot.
Sorry, my bad.
Yeah, anyways, this is Snail Mail. Friday episode.
Where we do listener feedback.
Mm-hmm. So from the voicemails. So what you guys do is you call in to 916-345-4744 and leave us a voicemail. It can be about pretty much anything, and we will play it, and you will get our genuine first time hearing it reactions. And if it ends up being something super raunchy that we can't air, then we just don't air it in the post-production, and it acts like it never happened.
Yep. That hasn't happened yet.
It hasn't happened yet. So first one up today is our buddy from SoCal.
Which one?
Clint.
Oh,
Clint Cliff.
What up, Clint? Thanks for writing or messaging, calling.
Yeah.
He's got a lengthy one, it looks like.
It does, yeah.
All right.
Yeah, he does, Jimmy.
Bring it on.
Clint, do you have a lengthy one? The world needs to know. Apparently you do, according to Jimmy. Here we go. So voicemail from Clint. Let's see what we got to talk about.
Hey, Toyota boys. It's Clint again. I know you're kind of getting past the KOH coverage, but a couple responses to my last message. First of all, those Joe Thompson UFO cars being heavy, I mean, you're comparing it to Randy Slosson's cars, which are about as minimalistic as you can possibly get. He literally doesn't even carry spares. I don't know. I don't have any clue how much that car weighs, the Joe Thompson car, or any of the cars for that matter, but I know that when you're up close to it, it's built like a tank. And it was a pretty good pull on those winches to get it over. So, I don't know. I'm sure it's north of 5,000 pounds, but I'm just talking out of my butt. I don't really know. The other thing I wanted to comment on is the red card process. So, when a team pull a red card for another driver, it's determined not by USAC, not by Hammer King. It's determined by a panel of other drivers. I think there's supposed to be 6 other drivers who will view the incident and rule on it. And I just think it's very rare that they're going to overturn, or go through with the red card, especially since they won the race and he's a very well-established member of the Ultra-4 community. I think it would take something pretty egregious to have them rule against him. But, the argument could be made that this was pretty egregious as far as him nerfing that guy and making him rule. But that's how the red card process works. It's not Ultra-4, Hammer Kings, any of those entities. It's actually, I'm sure it's supervised by them, but it's actually a panel of other drivers. So generally they're going to not make too many waves on red cards. So anyway, Chiefs rule. Talk to you guys later.
Did you say Jeeps rule at the end there?
I think that's how he closed out, yeah. I was waiting for keep crawling, but I think he said Jeeps rule.
Yeah.
Weird.
I'm disappointed, Clint. I think you misspoke there.
Yeah.
I think you meant to say Toyotas are awesome. We'll see you guys on the Rubicon.
Yeah.
That's what you meant to say.
One of those.
No, that's cool. A couple of things. There was the weight we were talking about. Who was it that rolled over? One of the Gomez brothers. I think it was not Raul. Was it Raul? I don't remember which one. There's like 5 or 8 of them now. I don't know what they are. One of them rolled over. They were leading the race for a long time. They rolled over, and Clint was on scene to recover that vehicle. And we were talking about the weight of the vehicles, and it just seemed like the Thompson UFO cars being a quote unquote heavy car just seemed weird to me. But I'm also not comparing it to Randy Slosson's bombers either. Those are on the opposite end of the spectrum, I think, for weight in Ultra 4 cars. They're outliers in my opinion. I'm thinking of like the average weight of an Ultra 4 car. So I don't know. This seemed like the Campbell's cars would be a lot heavier than a UFO car.
Yeah, or Heelys.
Yeah, something like special Heelys. Like so I don't know. I'm just kind of. Yeah, 5,000 pounds sounds about right for an Ultra 4 car average. But I don't know. I've never weighed one. Actually, Trent, could you call in and talk?
Yeah, maybe you have more info.
Yeah, I'm curious what the average Ultra 4 car weight is. I know we have quite a few racer drivers out there, so somebody call and let us know.
In regards to the red card information, if it comes down, if it's true that more or less kind of what you're saying, that, you know, it's race. Well, it is true that the racers review it. I know that there was a panel.
I didn't know how many there was. I knew that it was peer reviewed though.
Right. And if kind of what you're alluding to is that no racer's really going to give another racer a red card, then that's a stupid platform, a stupid thing to do.
That was going to be my comment.
If that
it sounds like that system's broken.
Yeah, that system's broken. If nobody's going to turn another person in, you know, then it doesn't work. So they need to reevaluate that, whether, you know, that was a red card offense or not. I'm not going to say one way or the other. And, you know, I know other people out there have their own opinions.
Mm-hmm.
But if the system doesn't work, then they need to figure out a better system to actually put it in place.
Dave, give us a call. We can solve all the world's problems. I'm just kidding. I don't know what the solution is for that one.
No, I don't either.
I do think that safety though needs to be still a paramount thing, because as soon as we do have a massive accident, and you know, luckily they are very strict on tech and contingent tech. Making your car pass tech for good reason, because it's super dangerous out there.
Yeah.
And as soon as we have one death, there's a very good chance that it may not happen anymore. The Ultra 4 in general. Like
they had Rufus Racing had that death last year.
One of their drivers?
Yeah. Rolled on the race course.
No shit. Why didn't I know about that?
Yeah, I forgot the gentleman's name. Fantastic individual. Everybody had miles of positive things to say about the guy. It was one of the guys that was always out helping everybody else. And
Zandia, right?
Zandy. Yeah.
Zandy, was that during an Ultra 4 race? I thought Zandy, I thought he passed away in like a Nora or Vegas to Reno, something like that.
I thought it was an Ultra 4 race over in like Crandon or something.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah, okay.
But it might not have been.
Yeah.
I thought it was. But he did pass away in a race.
Wow.
So I don't know.
Yeah.
And
it's a very tricky situation, because you need to make sure that it's safe, but at the same time you don't want to stop people from racing. You don't want to take the racing away. So it's a shitty situation.
Yeah, his incident wasn't a red card offense. It was just like a corner that was tore up and bad, or you know, it was on a corner and rolled.
Yeah,
to my knowledge, and that might not even be 100% correct. So that's what I recall.
Yeah.
But you know, the fact that when Mike Slauson nerfed some guy and caused them to roll, it does seem a little egregious.
It does. Yeah. I don't know. I've gotten into it, and it's the thing for me is that it totally could have gone the other way. And the matter of 1 foot of impact location, and Mike could have been the one to roll.
Yes.
And
that's true.
And it's hard to see exactly what's going on based on the video. And you can't figure out what's going on in people's heads while they're racing too. And so, yeah, I don't know if it is peer reviewed, and what you're saying is true, that's going to take something super egregious and like obviously blatantly bad to call a red card and for a red card to go through, then maybe that's not the best process.
Yeah.
Anyways,
we'll leave that one there.
That's some good feedback though. I wasn't aware of the full process on the red card process. So
yeah. All right. Who do we have next?
Tom Rosa.
Ah, Mr. Rosa.
Yeah.
Good seeing you the other day.
Yeah, man. Let's see what Tommy has got to say.
Trigger warning. Hey guys, this is Tom Rosa. I wanted to say hi to Jimmy and Tyler, and I wanted to follow up on a podcast you guys were talking about when Tyler and I went on the snow run in February about the CJ. Now, remember, trigger warning. If you're brand racist, this may hurt you a little bit, but the axles on the Jeep are actually Toyota mini truck axles.
Yeah, buddy.
That's right. Toyota on a Jeep. Long time ago, we used to wheel with mostly Toyota guys, and every time I'd break something on the Jeep axles, no one would have spare parts. So made the switch and haven't looked back, haven't regretted it. The front is and we have an E-locker, dirty 30s, and drive slugs, and the rear is just a full spool with chromoly axles. I kept 410 gears in it because I like the bigger pinion. The 4.2 liter straight six makes tons of torque and has a tendency of, with that much torque, ripping off the ring gear teeth with a little pinion. That's about it. And very happy with those axles. They seem to do a great job. They're really high clearance. I had a problem bending the housings every once in a while, so I've got stronger housings, but that's about it. That's my last thing. Toyota suck and keep crawling.
Dang it, Tom.
You halfway meant that.
Yeah.
It was only half of a Toyota suck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Toyota axles, great. Toyota bodies and chassis suck.
There you go.
Tom out.
Tom out.
No, that's good stuff. I'm curious how you got a stronger Toyota housing.
Yeah. I wonder if, I don't know, did he buy an aftermarket housing?
No, he's got, I think, Toyota housings under it.
Did he
like 8-inch
forge
housings?
it?
That's yeah, I don't know. Did you mess with it, or did you just add trusses to them?
Braces.
Now
or
I'm
something.
curious.
Yeah.
I guess I didn't pay too much close attention to his axles to notice anything super crazy about him.
Yeah. I wonder how what do you mean by a stronger axle housing?
Yeah. The cool thing about Toyota axles is the housings, axle shafts themselves, the Burfields, and then by extent the stub shafts, the hubs, the way that the bearing rotor assembly all works. It's on par strength with a Dana 44.
Right.
They're just typically a little bit narrower than a 44 with a slightly smaller ring gear. I think 44s were 8 3/4 inch, something like that.
Oh.
But they're much higher clearance.
Yes.
The 8-inch pumpkin on Toyota axles, they just sit a little bit higher. They have a little bit better clearance than Dana axles do. And so I do miss all that clearance I had under my axles. I'm only technically missing, I think, an inch and a half, but of clearance from what I used to have. But I definitely hit my big ass pumpkins on stuff.
Well, and that's part of my argument about why I'm not doing full widths on Bobcat.
Mm-hmm.
Is because I bet you I have more clearance with my Toyota mini truck axles and 37s than a 60 and 40s.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So if I go
You
60s
totally do.
and 40s, really all I'm doing is I'm losing ground clearance, but I'm getting my rig wider.
Yeah. What I think is one of the best options for lighter weight vehicles, so like Tom CJ, Bobcat mini trucks, is doing what my dad did with his axles. He's running diamond axles with 8-inch center sections, but full width.
Right.
So he's a 67-inch WMS on his trucks. And so he has the clearance of the 8-inch diffs in a diamond axle, a custom housing.
Which
so you
I
get
think
even
has
more clearance. That in my opinion is the way to go.
Yeah.
I'm just stupid though. And I was like, yeah, people have done that. I want to do something dumb.
Yeah. I wonder, I would like to compare mine with a rough stuff housing. I wonder how that would be.
Yeah. With your clearances.
So full widths, lengths on 8-inch ring gears with rough stuff housings. That'd be pretty badass.
That's what I wanted to do. But 10 and a half, but rough stuff wasn't making their 10 and a halves when it was putting all this together.
Jerk.
Dang it, Zach.
Yeah. Isn't there don't the caretaker at the Rubicon Springs, doesn't he have
he has a Chavoda.
Chavoda.
Yeah.
But
no, it's not a Chavoda. Yes, it is.
He calls it a Chavoda, but I think it's a Chevy engine, a Toyota like drivetrain, and a Jeep body.
Correct. Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
At that point, you can't be mad at anybody.
Exactly.
Except for like Samurais and
Ford
Fords.
guys are they're left out.
Yeah. Too funny.
Man. So yeah, good stuff, Tom.
Thanks for calling.
Yeah. I
call back and tell us how you actually got those harder or what you did.
Yeah. How did you get those harder, Tom?
How'd you make it harder?
Jimmy wants to know how you made it harder.
And last longer.
Next one is our buddy who has the sofa, the lazy boy on 30s.
30s. Now we're downgrading him again.
We're downgrading him again. Okay. Sorry, Nick. I'm not sorry.
You went from 29s to 33s to 31s down to the 30s.
Yeah, we're working you back to 29s.
All right,
so
got it. All right.
Let's see what Nick has to say.
Hey, Jimmy and Tyler, it's Nick, Gladiator on 29th, I guess is what you guys are calling me. Listen to the podcast with Tyler. Welcome back, Tyler. I wanted to say that I warn a lot of my friends when they're about to have kids that they're probably not going to feel an immediate attachment to their kid because I know I didn't. It was something I spent a lot of time thinking about the first few months of my first child's life. I didn't really feel any attachment or reward for my effort until about 6 months when the kid really started to smile when they saw my face and finally felt a connection to the kid. Because, yeah, for the first few months, I mean, it's just this thing that keeps you from sleeping, you're constantly working on, and you basically get no reprieve from. And, yeah, you don't have the bonding experience of actually growing the child in your belly. So shouldn't really feel an immediate attachment. It comes over time. Now that I have, an almost 7-year-old and a 2-year-old, I have great bonds with them, but definitely didn't for the first 6 months. So it will come. I also wanted to say, what was the other thing? I thought I had something else, but maybe not. Welcome back to the podcast, and hope we get to hear from you more often.
Thanks, buddy.
Yeah.
If you remember what it was, call back.
He might have done it later.
Let's see. Nick. Nope. No other phone calls from Nick.
So many to go. I'm glad he downgraded himself.
Yeah.
First of all, like he did agree and admit that he's the Gladiator in 29s. Mm-hmm. So now we're all back on the same page.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, good.
Yep. Gladiator 29s. I mean, granted, he told me, I had 3 or 4 other guys tell me, dads, that were like, yeah, just be prepared. You're not going to feel any attachment. You're going to feel like it's just wasted time, wasted effort, whatever it is, but it gets a lot better as it goes. And I always kind of listened to them, but it never really sinks in until you're experiencing it.
Oh,
right.
Sure. Yeah.
And so, yeah, I don't know. It's just, that's where it is. And I feel like everybody, it's just funny to me that there's a lot of shit that happens with pregnancies, labors, becoming a new first-time parent with newborns that is not mainstream. It's not talked about.
Right.
And it really takes sitting down and talking with somebody else one-on-one who's been through those experiences to learn, oh yeah, this shit happens. And it's very normal. And it happens to everybody. But just people don't talk about it. Sure. And everybody talks about, oh, it's a new little baby. It's so cute. It's great. Everything's going to be amazing. What they're really excited about when they're saying all that is they're welcoming you to their hell. No, I'm just kidding.
I know exactly what you're going through right now.
Yes. Exactly. No, but it's just, and so I don't know. I'm not a big fan of how we act as a society a lot of times by downplaying a lot of stuff that's like a lot of things to do with the human body. It seems like the American society is like, nope, don't talk about it. It's super not okay to talk about. And I'm like, why? Everybody has a fucking body. We all need to know about these things. Like,
right.
So
absolutely.
And it's been that same kind of thing where nobody talks about the, I don't want to say bad sides, the perceived negatives and the hardships of having a newborn. Nobody really super talks about them.
I think
until you're in the situation.
I think everybody tries to forget them.
Probably. I could see that.
Yeah. So it's like, think of the good times you're having. Mm-hmm. It's like, well, what about all those crappy times?
Yeah.
Which one outweighs the other?
Yeah.
Right now, maybe crappy times. But, I think in a year, at a year old, 2, 3, that's when fun times really start.
Yeah.
Not 3.
Skip
3.
Skip 3.
1, 2 are fun. There was no such thing. Terrible 2s is not a thing, to my knowledge. It's terrible 3s.
A terrible 3s?
It's terrible 3s.
But 2s rings better.
2s rhymes. Yeah. Right. It starts at the end of 2s.
Yeah.
Terrible 3s is a thing. And then 4, I loved 4 and 5 and 6. Those were fantastic times with the mini assistant.
Mm-hmm.
That she's just they're at the point where they can start observing and understanding and communicating easily.
Yep.
Right. And questioning. Which is, they're all fantastic, fun things.
They're figuring it out
a
lot about life.
Absolutely. Where 2 months, 3 months,
They're just a meat potato.
It's just a eating, pooping, throwing up,
you're just trying to keep something alive.
Yeah.
That's fighting you.
It's a pet.
Yeah. It's a chia.
Oh man.
A chia pet.
Hope the assistant doesn't listen to this.
I have a real life Tamagotchi, guys.
Yeah, right. But, like in the previous episode, you talked about, that Reed is starting to smile.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And now the connection's going to start.
Yeah.
I think that now, like what Nick said, when you walk in the room and the child lights up and smiles and looks at you and recognizes you and knows who you are.
Yeah.
That's when you're like, I have a serious purpose in life now.
Yeah.
I think that's when the whole thing changes.
Yeah.
When there's no interaction and it's just like a meat potato, like you sort of said, yeah, it sucks.
Yeah.
It's no fun.
Mm-hmm.
There is a definite connection that the mom has through growing a child and birthing a child.
Mm-hmm.
And the guy had no effort in most of that except for creating this child, which is probably the funnest thing at all.
Yeah, that's the
funnest part. But I think there's, and once again, I'm sort of speaking out of my ass because minus my nephew, right? I don't have a ton of it. Well, I've got a lot of friends that have kids, but I don't have a child of my own that I raised from that age. Right. I've been around children from those ages but there's no interaction that way. Like my nephew's a little bit there because I was around when he was born and for the first few years of his life. But like my friends, like now they know who I am, but when they were a kid and like babies and even at the age where they were interacting, they didn't know who I was. There was no, there's no connection.
Yeah.
So I totally kind of understand that.
Yeah. And I get it. And so like, I don't know, I had a small talk with, I don't remember who it was, but it was about the same topic. Right. And I was like, I get it. Like I'm not upset. I'm not sad. I'm not feeling bad or having like, second guessing this decision to have a kid.
Yeah.
Dealing with the kid is, I don't know. It's difficult, but it's also easy mentally, I think, because I know that the kid can't fend for itself. Right.
Yeah.
What I think I'm struggling, and I just came to this conclusion, I think a couple days ago,
the last 10 seconds,
is that I'm having trouble going from, we were what is it called? A dual income, no kid couple where we both worked. We both kind of, I don't want to say did our own thing, but we both had our own separate hobbies. We both had these things that we liked doing. She was very, very independent woman. And she knows how to take care of herself and she does a great job at it. And we took care of each other when needed to be done, whatever, all that stuff. And we went from that to now just the shit that the woman's body goes through and the recovery that has to happen and how much effort that they now have to take to make sure the kid is fed and stays alive means that I am not only helping take care of a kid, but I'm also now taking care of an adult.
Yes.
And making sure that all of her needs are also met so that she can really do the job that I can't do with the kid. And I think that's the part I'm struggling with is I went from only being, having to watch for myself to now having a kid, but now having to have a second kid in the form of an adult that I still haven't made that switch mentally of
that she's an adult,
that she is an adult. But that's the problem though, is I'm thinking she's an adult. She should be able to take care of herself.
Sure.
And I'm having to spend a lot of extra effort and a lot of extra time taking care of her now. And I haven't made that switch that, I need to be taking care of her because she went through some shit.
Yeah.
And she's now doing a killer job taking care of this kid in ways that I can't. So I need to be doing everything I can to support her. I think that's the problem I'm having that's causing me stress and anxiety.
That makes sense. That does. I mean, I understand that because, and I understand the thought process too, right? It's like, she's an adult. If she's hungry, she can get up and go get food.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But she
can't,
but she's so exhausted from the physical effort of birthing a child, her body recovering from birthing a child and having to care for a child that it's not her. She would rather lay on the couch than actually feed herself.
Yeah, that's totally. And your body, I haven't read like scientific articles, but the amount of energy that goes into breast milk production.
Oh, it's a lot.
Is a crazy amount of your bodily resources.
Oh yeah. I know women often talk about, and I've heard this a few times, about how many calories get burnt to create milk.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, I could eat everything, and it didn't matter because my body was creating breast milk for the baby, and I could do, I was just burning all these calories, and then they stopped doing that and they continue to eat all the calories. That's the problem.
Yeah. Yeah. And so it's I don't know, I think that's kind of the problem. And I just came to this conclusion a couple of days ago too, like in my head, I made this realization. So I like to talk about it because
it's not something that's often talked about.
That's not often talked about. Sure. And I'm sure it happens to 80, 90% of people out there. So,
so that's good. Yeah. Good words of wisdom. So you like what Nick was saying, that you're not going to have an immediate connection to your child. For all those that are about to have a child. You're not going to have the man is not going to have an immediate connection to the child until there's some sort of interaction. And it's now become the man's job to not only care for the child, but care for the household and the wife.
Yes. You become like a single parent almost until things kind of get back together and the child can somewhat start managing itself.
Yeah. So, understood.
Yeah. Thank you, Nick, for calling in and bringing that up. I've been wanting to get that off my chest for a while. So
there you go. He feels better now.
Not necessarily on the podcast. I just need to talk to somebody about it. It's like now you Tyler therapy session.
Thousands of people.
Right. Next one is Beer Craig.
Beer Craig. Did he actually call in and say that can't do mead? Don't do it.
Just play it.
Go.
Let's see what he says.
Last one.
Hey, it's Oklahoma Beer Craig here. First, congratulations to Tyler, Jimmy, doing a great job holding down the podcast. I'm cussing minutes into the newest podcast, so 6 months from now when you guys catch up, there's a reference. But I have 3 kids. My youngest is 7, and within the last year we let them start cussing, and they took off like a rocket because they hadn't heard it over the years, and we tried to limit it, but also we reached a point where we don't care. There's obviously something about young kids cussing, using it correctly, that is hilarious. So I'm in full support. I'm on Tyler's team. English language used properly, have the same fears, but hearing a 7-year-old say, like, that's fucking bullshit is absolutely hilarious. So, not for everyone, but I say don't shy away. Glad Tyler's back for at least an episode. Really enjoying it. Thank you guys. Keep crawling, bud.
Thanks, Beer Craig.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see how that goes, because I know the secretary wants both of us to just stop cursing altogether, and I'm like, I'm not going to be able to do that. Like, I'm sorry. I believe in language and using language appropriately. So we'll see how it goes once we get to that critical point.
That'll be interesting.
Yeah,
I think you're going to reduce a little bit, but I think that there's a level of where it's just going to happen anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have a really good friend. I might've said this during that episode as well, that, cuss is like a sailor right now, and every time that he's around any of the children, he doesn't change, right? He just cusses like crazy, and he's about to have a kid. Right. So I'm really kind of curious to watch and see, like, is his vocals, is his words going to change?
Yeah.
Should I be cussing like a sailor? Just to see if he comments on it, and if he does, I'd be like, dude, you were cussing like crazy when I had children.
Yeah.
When my kid was like, 5 and very vulnerable in language and, and now you're telling me to be quiet. Like, oh, okay. I see how this sword falls, or the bamboo switch flies, or whatever you want to say.
The cat flies across the yard.
Yeah, how the cat flies across the yard. So I'm just kind of curious to watch that. But I think there's a level of, like, the kid does pick up on things really fast.
Totally.
Right? And so what do you want it to pick up on? And then there's a level of like, it just happens anyway. Yeah. So I think you're not going to stop, but you might reduce, I think there's a level of that.
Yeah, I agree. I think that there's definitely a level of it too, where, like Craig's, like he said, using it appropriately, not just flipping them out all over the time. Whenever you get a chance to say a curse word, that's not the point of it. The point is, to say that something is fucking bullshit when you're upset about something.
Yeah.
Because it's a way to communicate to people the seriousness of the message you're trying to send. Right.
Sure.
And so as long as he's using it appropriately that way and not just going like, Dad, can you get this fucking cup and go and get my fucking fork and the ball? I'll just all in one. I'm like, no, that's useless.
Yeah.
That's pointless. Sure. There's no point to doing that.
Right.
That's not what I'm arguing for. So, but yeah, appropriate usage of cursing is something I'm a huge fan of with everybody. So
that's funny.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Yeah. We'll all keep an eye on you, right? Or an ear on you, and see what actually ends up happening. Yep. So, yeah. If you want to do one more,
the next 3 are from Oklahoma Zach.
Okay. Well, we'll pause on that then, and we'll play those next episode.
Sounds good.
We'll do an Oklahoma Zach episode, maybe. But yeah, if you're enjoying Snail Mail and these voicemails or any other of the feedback that we have, you can always get a email us. You can phone in area code 916-345-4744. You can DM us, Jimmy or Tyler at email Jimmy or Tyler at snailtrail4x4.com, or you can DM us. I'm over at snailtrail4x4. Tyler's at 4x4 Toyota Tyler.
Sweet. I like it a lot. And with that, do we do final words on Snail Mail?
We don't.
Keep crawling.
Was that final words though?
Yeah.